Hi guys, it's Mary McIntyre. Welcome back to my channel. Things are pretty stressful at the moment. I've got so much going on with work and at home, so I thought I'd add to my stress by having a go with some polyurethane resin. If you don't know what this stuff is, it cures in 5 minutes. Now, I saw Claire at Claire's Crafty Corner make some of these baubles last year, and I've wanted to make them ever since. Basically, you can do them in 2 layers. You can see that there's like an outer layer and then some design kind of on the inside. So my plan for these is to use this stuff, which is white. It will cure in 5 minutes. So I'm going to do them in 2 batches. You have to mix this up in extremely small quantities, otherwise it sets in the cup before you can pour it. It's got a very watery consistency, which means it's going to be able to get into all of these little intricate details, which is why I wanted it, but also for the advantage of being able to then pour the second layer within like a matter of minutes essentially. So I'm going to have a go with that. That will cure white, so the outside borders of these baubles are going to be white, and there'll be the trees and stars and stuff like that. And the empty spaces that are left, I'm going to fill with clear resin that is coloured with this resin colourant. I've got 2 colours here. I tried them on a tissue. One of them's sapphire, one of them is aquamarine, and I think I'm edging towards the sapphire. I like the slightly darker tone. I want it to be like an inky night sky. And I may just put a few little fragments of glitter on there to look like stars. I haven't decided yet. I don't want to kind of fill these with glitter and make them kind of a glittery bauble as such. I want to have a transparent layer that fairy lights can shine through and maybe just hit a little bit of sparkle. We have a cat. That's what the scrunching noise is. He's just jumped onto a plastic bag full of flowers that I still haven't put away from Halloween. So the second layer, I'm going to use the Let's Resin epoxy resin. So of course my cats will be kicked out of this room when I do that. You cannot let your pets breathe this stuff in. I will be wearing my respirator for that as well. So pretty simple 2-step project, and hopefully they'll be able to be demolded tomorrow. I'm actually doing a craft fair a week on Saturday. Today's Thursday, so I kind of wanted to make these, even though I've got a mega writing deadline and I should actually be doing my day job right now. I kind of need to get some more of these for my craft store, so I really want to get those made. So what I'm going to do is mix up probably 25, you weigh this, it's equal parts for the polyurethane, so I'm going to probably do 20 or 25 grams of each, mix it for 20 seconds and then just get it in there, because once it starts curing it's going to get gloopy. It's not going to get into the intricate details. You can always pour more on top. If it starts to get gloopy and sets lumpy, it's just not going to be good, and it's a waste of product. I don't want to have stuff going off in my beaker that should be in a project. It's just wasteful. This stuff is not cheap, so I don't want to waste any of it. So I'm really looking forward to doing this. So I'm going to get my PPE on. I don't know what the situation is with this stuff, so I'm going to wear my PPE anyway, just to be safe. Don't take any chances with your lungs. You only get 1 pair. So I will be doing that. I'll be clearing the cats out, and then I'll be back and I will film the process of actually mixing this. Normally I mix my resin off camera, but this is real time. The stress is going to be real, so I'm going to film all of it, and hopefully you'll enjoy watching me feel the palpitations through the screen as I do this. Okay, we now have 3 cats in here, so I definitely need to clear some cats out. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I've got my respirator on. My weighing scale is just off the side of the view here. I gave these a shake just before I started recording, but I'm giving a little bit more of a shake. Okay, so I'm going to do a small amount. Okay, that's 20. So I need to go up to 40 really quickly. mix, 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 mix. It's getting warm. Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to have to go, I think, because it's getting warm, it's getting warm. I hope this works. Okay, let's go for this one. Oh no. So I don't think there's anywhere near enough to fill the second bauble. Most of it done. Into all those little areas. Now it's really warm in the beaker. Okay, so I need to add more into that. So I'm going to use a clean beaker. Gosh, you can see that that's cured already. That's insane. I mean, I knew it was going to, but it's kind of weird to actually see it. Maybe a few bits that don't get in here. Okay, get some in this tree because this is awkward shapes. Oh my word, this is really stressful. So stressful. It's going, it's going, it's going. Get it in quick. Oh no, I took too long. Oh no. some, that's a mess. Oh my god. Okay, so I suspect the underside of that is going to be lumpy. It might not be too bad. I may be able to mix up some more. Maybe if I can trim the stringy bits, I might be able to save this. Then I haven't wasted that. Gosh, this stuff gets so hot. So I think if I trim those lumps off, I can then go in and put some more in that will level. It's not going to be perfect, but I can sort out all that lumpiness. Wow. So this first beaker now is literally completely set. That is absolutely crazy.
So I quickly made up yet another small batch of the polyurethane. I've got better at this. You just have to be super, super quick. I did say on the screen earlier, I've got the exact quantities of polyurethane that you need to make these baubles. The next batch that I made after these, I did them in 2 halves and didn't have any problem whatsoever. So it's just like this was my first time. So obviously, you've got to be quick. There's no hanging around. You just have to be super, super quick.
Okay, I'm gonna let these completely cool, clean up any overspill, and then once they've cooled properly, I will come in and get the second layer done.
So here I'd mixed my Let's resin for a solid 5 minutes, and then I started adding the colourant. Now in the beaker this looked pretty pigmented, and I was kind of adding more and more until I was happy with the colour. And as soon as I started pouring it, it just looked so pale compared to what I was actually going for. I like the result, but I ended up kind of winging it on the fly, seeing if I could in some way recover these and make them that beautiful inky background that I was actually wanting. That's what I set out to actually make. So yeah, that didn't happen. Also, even though I'd mixed this up for quite a while with the pigment in, there was streaks of colour in there. So the colour that I got wasn't even, which isn't a problem. Swirly skies are fine. So I tried mixing in the blob of colourant there with my stick, but looking at these and realising how pale they were, I ended up grabbing my pigment and just dropping it on the back. And initially I was thinking if I swirl this, even if it's got a bit of a swirly pattern, it'd just be like a Van Gogh kind of swirly night sky pattern, which would have been really beautiful, forgetting that basically resin pulls in the pigment, and any mica that you use will pull in as the resin starts to cure. So I didn't end up with anything like they look now. I'm not mad at the results at all, but I don't know where my brain was when I did this. What I should have done is put the pigment in, left it for an hour or so, like you do with the Petri effect, and then gone in and swirled it. Then I may have had a slight chance of actually getting the pigment to stay where I put them. That didn't happen. The results are beautiful anyway, but I've left this in just to show you if you want to try this. Don't do that. Don't swirl it now. Swirl it in an hour's time and wait and see what happened. So in the clip that I'm going to show you in a minute up close, you can see that already the pigment was pulling in, and this was long before the video had long before the resin had actually cured. So yeah, you live and learn. I still think the results are really pretty.
I am so looking forward to demoulding these. Now, as you saw in the video, I was dropping some pigment on the back because they were just not as dark as I wanted, and the resin has pulled that in, and the glitter I sprinkled on top has all been pulled into the middle as well. I'm not mad at that. I think that'll just give it some dimension. There'll be some variations in the sky, but I know for next time definitely more pigment, because these are just not as dark as I had pictured in my mind. So I'm going to do the heart first, because I think that's the one that had the issues around the edge, so hopefully it'll be okay. I could have done with a smidge more resin. Obviously I had the issue with the polyurethane curing super quickly. Okay, from the front, that looks pretty cool. So the clear layer is definitely way lighter than I wanted, but I love the wispy background. That's really cool. Really good result with regards to not very many bubbles with that Let's resin too, so that's awesome. Now, one of these I know I over poured on the snowflakes. I think it's this. Is it this big one? I can't remember. There's one of them where I definitely over poured, so I know that I've got some funky stuff going on. Okay, this is the one that goes up and over, so it's going to be interesting to get this one out. Start at the top. These are so pretty. So yeah, there's a little bit of over pour on that one, but it's fine actually. It doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to, so that's cool. I'll hold these up to the window, then you can see the backgrounds in a second. Star I'm looking forward to, because obviously I'm an astronomer. So cool. They remind me of those cookies that we used to make when I was a kid, when you use the cookie cutter to cut a hole and then put a boiled sweet in there, and when you bake it, it melts and turns into like a stained glass window. I think that's so pretty. I would have preferred it if the background was darker, but I still love it as it is. I could always put them back in the mould and put another layer on, but I wanted to see them as they were. Got a little bit of clean up on the edge there. They're so pretty. I'm going to bring you down, then I can show you what the backgrounds look like. Certainly chunky. So I've been weighing these as I went along. So I've weighed the mould, I weighed them when the poly went in, and I'm going to weigh them now when the resin's gone in, so that way for future reference I will know exactly how much to mix for these. Could do with a little bit more resin on the back coat, but they look fine honestly. So let me show you what that looks like up to the light. So you can see we've got that wispiness in the sky, which is not really what I was going for, but I still think it's really nice. Just imagine that with a Christmas tree light shining through it. I think it'll be beautiful. A star. Oh wow, look at the reflection on the wall. So you can see they are chunky. They are chunky baubles, but they don't weigh a lot, and resin doesn't weigh much, so I need to pop out this morning, so I'm going to pop to the fabric shop and get some white ribbon. I think these will look lovely with either white or a blue ribbon. I don't have what I need, so I'm going to pop in and get some of that. I think that's so cool. For my first time ever using polyurethane, I think they've turned out pretty cool. So I'll come back when I'm putting the ribbon on. So I went through my ribbon stash. Turns out I had plenty of ribbon that would work on these. So what I've done is done a test one. So on the heart I've got my silver loop and I've put a bow at the top there just to hide the knot, because I think on something as fancy as this it's nice to kind of have those knots kind of hidden. So I will put a little stitch through there just so that it doesn't come undone. Just the bow part, I mean, the knot is secure enough. So I think they look super cute. The silver does match the little bits of glitter that I put in for stars. I was thinking about using this with the snowflakes on, but I decided just to go for the silver. If the background had been the colour I wanted, this blue ribbon with the silver edge would have been perfect, but the tones just, it's kind of okay from the side, but tone wise I don't think it quite matches from the front, so I'm going with the silver. I think it looks really classy. So I'll show you how I did that. It took my brain a minute to figure out how to do it. It's not difficult, but my brain is mush right now. So I've tied that, push that knot down to the back. I'm going to turn this upside down and then bring these two pieces round to the front to pinch that in place so it doesn't slide around. And then tie the bow upside down. I always find my bows work better upside down. Then you can manipulate the sides of the bow and the strings. And you can, once it's really tight, you can kind of pull on the ends and get the bow loops to the size that you want. So I tend to tighten them, pull them a bit more because that loosens it, tighten it again, and just keep doing that until I've got them exactly the right size. So that's pretty, I think that's pretty good. So I will put a little stitch through these to keep them secure. So nip the ends off. It's definitely better to start with a longer piece if you're going to do this.
So this is the mould finish with the ribbons. I think they're so pretty, even though the background wasn't really what I was going for, but when you hold them up to the light you could see that there was that kind of swirl of dark blue, which I actually thought was really pretty. Now I did go in and make more, and this time I added more pigment and I used 3 different shades of blue, and I was just dumping that pigment in there. These are not alcohol inks, by the way, they are resin colorants. And I got a way smoother result. And the patterns that you can see there are actually from the clouds that were in the sky as I held it up to the window. But I think they're super, super beautiful, and I am definitely going to be making more of these for Christmas gifts. So I hope you enjoyed the video. As I said multiple times in the video, the exact quantities you need if you want to have a go at making these are going to be in the description box below, so hopefully you'll find that helpful. Okay, take care guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.